Greetings, fellow anime gamers, and once again, I'm coming at you with a not Vita video. Yes, welcome to Off Topic Sundays, the segment where we all put our Vitas back in our pockets and just relax. All while listening to my podcast-like thingy that's not really a podcast, but I'm just calling it that because it seems right. And what do you guys think? That's my new intro for this segment. I kind of just thought of it last night. Yeah, I know, you guys are probably not surprised by that, I think. Now, before I start off the topic of the day, I just wanted to give you guys a huge shout out here. I was really blown away by how much you guys apparently seemed to like the last one of these that I did, and I'll be honest, that really shocked me. I thought for sure nobody was going to be interested in hearing me just kind of babble on about my childhood stuff and things that aren't Vita related. So thank you so much. The support you guys gave me was just overwhelming, at least for a channel of my size, and I love you guys for it. Thank you so much. So I guess I'm going to keep making these videos as long as you guys show an interest in them. Alright, now on to the topic at hand. Anybody want to take account of how many of these big corporations are leaving me and just basically scarring my childhood? Let's see, let's do this. First there was, Blockbuster Video left me, then Radio Shack left me, Hastings currently left me last year, and I guess now Toys R Us is going to be going out of business, and Best Buy is stopping their whole CD production. Well, alright. Best Buy technically didn't have any kind of CD production, but they are stopping the sales of their CDs very soon. And again, that's just another kind of sad thing that's going on in my life right now. Yes, I have a big, uncomfortable connection with a lot of these greedy corporations, but I love them so. And they're not gonna be selling CDs anymore. And to be honest, when you really stop and think about it, it seems like that should have happened a long time ago, because I mean, pretty much since iPods were introduced back in, when was that, 2006? Well, that's when I got mine anyway. And here's actually a fun fact for that, guys. My 2006 iPod, or my iPod Nano, which I don't even think they even make anymore, it still works to this day. I'm going to see if I can try and take a picture and show it to you guys right here. Yes, this is the iPod I bought from 2006. I use it pretty much on a regular basis, and it still works. I've never had a problem with it. I think maybe once or twice it's kind of froze, so I had to let the battery kind of die out, and then finally, it would reset itself. But other than that, yeah, this thing is like a beast. I don't know if it just came with some sort of super battery, or if maybe all iPod Nanos were like that, but yeah, I have not had to change this ever since. And I know nowadays people probably use their cell phones more than anything to listen to music, like through Pandora and whatnot, or iTunes. But yeah, this thing is still doing good for me, and I just love it. And if you guys want to hear something even more ironic, I bought this iPod Nano from Best Buy. Yes, talk about worlds colliding. That cannot just not be a regular coincidence. I actually got it from Best Buy back in 2006. In fact, I still have memories that before I bought an iPod, and I know that I had heard about them for like a few years before I had actually plunked down the money to get one. And until that point, I was just walking around with my big bulky CD player, which took batteries, might I add. So it was not very convenient to put something like that in your pocket, and I had to have like about an 8-pack of AA batteries, which is what I think it took. Not to mention, you didn't actually look like you were the coolest kid on the block walking around with a big old bulky CD player in your hand. But yeah, it's kind of sad to see that, Best Buy isn't going to be supporting CDs anymore. Hastings, as I mentioned, which went out of business sometime last year, they were one of the few, at least in our area, one of the few major corporations that still sold CDs on a regular basis, and they even had used CDs there. So, some people still prefer physical media, and I think it's kind of crazy how CDs are fizzling out, yet vinyl records are making even more of a comeback. In fact, I was in FYE's just yesterday at our local mall, and they didn't have all that many CDs, to be honest. They did, however, have vinyl records, and those vinyl records, they're like $50, $75 a pop, and like these little small CDs would cost upwards to like maybe $12, $15. It's kind of crazy to think that people are kind of preferring the more expensive method to the more cheaper method. Now, yeah, I get the whole vinyl records look cool, and I will admit they have fantastic artwork on them, and they just look like a lot more of an epic thing to collect. They look much better on a shelf than just a plain old CD. But it still blows my mind that people prefer the more expensive option to it. And I will also say that this news isn't like completely, totally heartbreaking. It's not like Best Buy is going to be going out of business anytime soon. And to be honest, their game deals that they have for the video games is really, really noteworthy. They have this new thing called, oh gosh, what the heck was it called? Someone let me know down in the comments. But Best Buy is offering this thing where I think you pay like $30 for a year's worth of membership and you get 20% off, I think, new game releases, which is really, really cool. So I really do give Best Buy credit here. They're doing their very, very best to try and stay as relevant as they can, because as time change, as much as I even hate to admit this myself, you kind of have to change too if you want to stay in this industry. Okay, I went ahead and just had to do a quick cut on this video just because it kept gnawing at me what the heck Best Buy's program was called. It seems to be called My Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked program, and it's $30, but it's actually for 2 years, just for $30. That's not a bad price, because I think before that time it was $100 for 2 years. So yeah, I really do have to give Best Buy kudos. That is a pretty sweet deal. It's very similar to what Amazon was doing there for a while, where if you're a Prime member, you get 20% off new releases, which I think they're still doing, but I don't think that counts towards collector's boxes anymore, which is kind of a bummer. I've never really been hugely into collector's editions unless they happen to just come with the game or basically almost the same price, but I could still see how some gamers would kind of be disappointed at that. So yeah, it's going to be a really sad thing to see that Best Buy's not going to be selling CDs anymore, but, and I just kind of thought of this now, how much you guys want to bet that maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 years from now, that CDs might be making a comeback kind of the way vinyl has, and maybe everyone's going to be scrounging to buy CDs. I mean, even to this day, if you go like to a thrift store or even maybe even a used music shop, you can get CDs like pretty dirt cheap. I've seen them for well under 10, even $5 sometimes even 99 cents depending on what kind of CD it is. So I almost get a feeling, mark my word, people are, once they get to like the appropriate age, they're going to be very nostalgic for CDs, and I really can see them making a comeback sometime in the future. Kind of makes me wonder though what will happen to vinyl, because vinyl is being introduced to even like a newer generation now. People, kids that never even knew where vinyl was, they weren't around in that era, they're starting to love it. Kind of the way retro games have become kind of popular. The younger generation sees how cool the retro games are, even if they didn't grow up with it, but they're still seeing that, hey, that's pretty cool, and then they're getting into it. So then they'll be nostalgic for it years from now, even though they didn't technically grow up in that area. But so it seems to just be causing sort of a snowball effect. And with a lot of these kind of off-topic videos, I always kind of like to share a part of like my childhood or memories I have. Now, I'll admit that I'm probably part of the problem why Best Buy is not selling CDs anymore, as it probably doesn't really come as a surprise to you because I have an iPod and I love it. I haven't bought a CD probably in, don't kill me here guys, but probably maybe since the 90s. Yeah, no, actually that's not true. I did buy a Card Captors CD back in like 2001, 2002, but that was still well over a decade. So yeah, don't kill me here. And but yeah, I mean it's I've never really been like, I'm huge on physical media, but I've never really been huge on CDs or even vinyls for that matter. I kind of just like the convenience of having everything on an iPod or a cell phone or whatnot. And I'd imagine that probably shocks a lot of you guys out there, considering how big I am on physical media when it comes for the PlayStation Vita. But for music, yeah, it's never been really that huge of a deal. It's funny because I still have nostalgic memories on the very first CD that I ever acquired, and this was back in, gosh, I want to say this was the early 90s, and I bought the Sega Genesis game Comic Zone. I don't know if some of you guys are familiar with that game. Well, back then, it came with the actual OST soundtrack CD bundled right with the game, and it's funny, to this day, I have no idea where I put that CD at. It just got lost in time. Maybe it's probably somewhere in my attic, but that was the very, very first CD that I ever had. In fact, it was so early, I didn't even have a CD player. No, I was still rocking a cassette player. So it's funny because I never got a chance to actually play that CD. I never did. It was my first CD technically because it came with the game, but I never played it. And by the time I did get a CD player, I had no idea where the heck it was. It could have found its way in the trash for all I know, which is really sad because that's a big part of my childhood and I really wish I could find it. I mean, kind of makes me even determined to kind of go look around in my house now to see maybe if I could find it somewhere. Maybe, might get lucky. However, that being said, I do remember what my other first CD, or I guess that'd be my second CD was, and that was a Christmas music. It was like a background Christmas music CD. It was like, I think it was called like Elevator Music, but for Christmas, something like that. It was weird. I got it for like 99 cents at Big Lots, or what the heck was Big Lots called back then? I think it was called Pick and Save. And yeah, that was my first CD, and I was addicted to that because I'm a huge Christmas guy. People who know me personally will know how much I'm in love with Christmas. I'm kind of like the nostalgia critic in that regards. And yeah, I listened to that CD like crazy. But yeah, I never really owned a whole lot of CDs though overall. I guess, like I said, I just kind of prefer the whole convenience of having them on an iPod or one little small device. Alright guys, and that's basically my story. I did have kind of more to say, but I don't want this video to be super long. I'm trying to go for only around 10 minutes or so I guess I'm just going to go ahead and end it there. Let me know, how do you guys feel about physical media when it comes to CDs? Do you collect CDs? Do you care about CDs? Or are you kind of more like me and you just kind of prefer to have them on your iPod or cell phone? Let me know. And as always, anime gamers, we must forge our own path. Anything is possible. Thanks for watching.